What's up, guys? This is Mike from EGM, and I recently got to go hands-on with Battlefield 5 at EA Play. I'm a big Battlefield fan. It's probably my favorite multiplayer series ever, so yeah, I was pretty psyched about being able to try this new Battlefield out, and I wasn't disappointed. I also didn't play super well, as you can see. I mean, I did okay, but what I wanted to do is experience a lot of the new systems that they're talking about, that they've been revealing during, gameplay sessions with EA insiders and stuff like that, and just see if they fixed some of the issues that people have had with previous series. I've been playing since Bad Company 2. That was really my biggest first foray into Battlefield multiplayer, and I've always been kind of hoping that they would go back to what made that series special, which was, in my opinion, the maps and the destruction. And yeah, I mean, they did. I think this map, so we're playing a match of Grand Operations. This map is the Port of Narvik. It's set in Norway, and this map in particular really reminded me of what made some of the Bad Company 2 maps, especially on Rush, so great, which was tons of cover, tons of different points of advantage, just a lot of maneuverability and being able to stay in cover. Battlefield 1's maps were, I liked them for the most part, but a lot of them felt way too open, way too vulnerable to snipers, whereas there's a lot of cover. The linear aspects of the maps didn't really seem like they were funneling people too much into, 2 or 3 corridors, and that was a problem with a lot of the linear maps in Battlefield 1, and I would say that this map in particular, at least, the Port of Narvik, really showcased how linear maps can still feel open. So the Grand Operations is a 3 or 4 part match. Like Operations, it will take place over the course of multiple maps, or at least multiple versions of one map. This is day 1, and I had to play as a defender, on the defending team. So there's an attacking team and a defending team for Grand Operations. The attacking team, this is airborne mode, so the attacking team got to parachute out of planes, and they can parachute out of the planes anytime that they want. But the problem is that for them is that if they stay in the plane too long, they could be shot down by AA cannons. But staying in the plane for an extended period of time will allow them to drop further into enemy lines. And the point of this mode is for the attackers to blow up the 4 or 5 artillery points that the attacking team or the defending team is trying to defend. So this is day 1, and as you could see, there are already some new features that were showcased in that gameplay. One of them in particular was when you go down, you can call for revives, and either a medic or someone in your squad can come and pick you up, even if they're not a medic. If you've been paying attention to, Battlefield news, you'll know that that's a new feature, that squad revives are a new feature, and they take a lot longer than regular revives, but even regular revives take a longer period of time now than they did in Battlefield 1 or even 4, where you could just go over, either use a syringe or use, the paddles to pick up a teammate instantly. Now you have to kind of go through a small animation. So it makes it a lot more. Revives give you a lot of points in this game, but it's a lot riskier to do it. But it's really necessary, because if you don't pick up your teammates, getting outnumbered in this game in particular, it's really hard to get out of that situation. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4, you can kind of go through as a lone wolf player, I feel like, pretty easily. But in this one, getting outnumbered is going to be a difficult situation for you. So you really want to stick with your team and play the objectives, at least play different classes. Right now I wanted to definitely test out the new destruction models. So I got on an RPG and just started going ham on the house. And what's really cool here is if you notice right there, even after I blew up like the whole wall of that house, there was still rubble that was persistent and destruction that was persistent, even, you know, seconds after you already blew a hole in the wall. So that was really cool, really immersive. And if you notice, this is like a snow level, which I really haven't. I mean, I think like Propaganda and 4 had snow, and I know some of the levels in, or some of the maps in Bad Company 2 had snow, but I don't really remember snow having such an effect as it does in this game, where not only is it a visual effect that looks amazing, you know, the snow in this game looks incredible, and it can definitely provide some sort of visual cover for attacking teams who are trying to make their way, and the snow it definitely seems to get thicker at points, which is kind of cool. I'm wondering if that's sort of like the weather effects that they had in 1 with the fog. But yeah, I mean, the snow is cool because not only because of the visual beauty of it, but also because moving through the snow actually slows you down. So, and you'll see that I think you probably saw it earlier, but players walking through the snow actually left footprints, which was really, really impressive. And I'm wondering if you know, the snow prints, because snow affects your movement, if more heavily treaded areas will actually let you travel through them faster. And I guess some of the Russian maps had snow in Battlefield 1, by the way. I don't know what I was talking about. So this is really cool. So we're on to day 2. I only showed a little bit of day 1. We're on to day 2 now, and so since they blew up 3 out of the 4 artillery positions, they got a huge bonus to the amount of tickets that they can expend in this one. So day 2 is breakthrough, and it's a daytime version of the map now. So you can really take in a lot of the, I mean, the lighting at nighttime looked amazing, but the daytime one really lets you kind of take in the size of the map and kind of the layout of the map. And it's really cool that this is a different section of the map that's further down. So I'm wondering if you'll get to play the entire map at some point in some mode. I'm not really sure. They didn't really explain that, but it would be kind of interesting to see if you could play the entire Port of Narvik map all at once. But this is the same map, but it's a different section of the map, and it's at daytime now, so that's kind of cool. So breakthrough is basically just operations, a single map operations, where it's a linear game mode. It's a linear attack and defend capture mode, and you know, they have different sectors like in Battlefield 1's operations, and you have to capture both points to take a sector if you're attacking, and as the defenders we have to defend the map. So this is one of the defense points early on. It's under this bridge, and right here you can see me building a fortification. So this is another new system in Battlefield 5. You can build fortifications that sort of help bolster a defense position. Some of them are sandbags. If you're in buildings, you can kind of build lower walls if the wall of the buildings got blown out. I'm playing a support right now, so this is one of the new LMGs. I was playing a support earlier, and the LMG I was using, it's a more powerful LMG, but you have to go into bipod. You have to bipod the weapon in order for it to aim down the sights. So it's kind of an interesting payoff. That's part of the new archetype system that they're using for classes, and it's kind of an interesting system. We didn't get to do a lot of customization or weapon customization or anything like that, so I'm not sure how many weapons you get per archetype. And the archetypes, they're calling them subclasses, it seems really based on what tools and gadgets you can bring out and what gadgets they have. Each archetype has different gadgets, it seems like. Unfortunately, the only archetypes, different archetypes that they had were for the support class, and they only had 2 of them, so I didn't really get to explore that too much. But I know that they're gonna be adding a ton more later in the final game, and hopefully we'll get a better look at that during the beta. One thing I will say about the fortifications is that it will help, I think, learning the map and learning where fortifications can go. Fortifications can always go in houses. You can always board up windows and sort of restructure buildings that have been brought down with like sandbags and smaller walls. But in terms of some of the more obscure fortifications, you can use some fortifications to block roads, and you can set up like obstructions for tanks. You can set up sandbags and roads, but it's not entirely clear where you can set up stuff like foxholes, and as a support player where you can set up like machine gun nests. And the only way you can tell where to set up fortifications is if you are running around with the toolbox out. So the toolbox is the new like item that everyone uses, or everyone spawns with, similar to the gas mask in Battlefield 1. It's up on the D-pad for console players. I'm not sure what it is for PC players. But it's the same sort of idea where everybody spawns in with an item, and this time it's the toolbox that lets you build fortifications. So the one thing that's going to be interesting to see is if you're running around with the fortification or the toolbox out, you can see where you can build stuff, but if you're not, you can't really see where you can build stuff. So I think learning the maps and sort of learning where those foxhole positions and machine gun positions are is going to be really important as the game comes out and progresses. This was really interesting. The visuals in this game are stunning, as you can probably tell. We were playing on like a super powerful NVIDIA GeForce computer or whatever. I'm a console player, so I don't really know what any of that means, but what was really stunning about that scene in particular was where I revived someone, and you got to see what a revive as a medic looks like. You actually go into an animation where you stick the syringe in the player's arm and pull them up. It's pretty cool, but you can be vulnerable if you're not really paying attention or choosing your revive moments wisely. But the one thing that was really particularly impressive to me was how the snow moved around in that room and how it moved around the other player. The visual detail in this game is incredible, and you know, that's sort of been the par for the course for every Battlefield game as it comes out. But when they're talking about immersion, it really is pretty immersive in moments like that. So here I got to try out a tank. Everyone was at the event. I went to a press event. 64 people were playing. So everyone was pretty keen on getting to try out the map, or I mean the tank. And so I finally got in a tank. It was a pretty short-lived run, but I at least got to blow up another tank right here. And the explosions look amazing in this game. But one of the things about the tank was that I didn't realize how quickly I was getting put in the action. That spawned me pretty close to the capture point here, the objective here. But yeah, I threw up smoke there, so the tanks, very similar to Battlefield 1, they kind of come with, each class of tank kind of comes with its own, you know, gadgets and stuff. And the smoke is going to be really useful in this game because spotting is very, very different. I couldn't even really spot. When you spot players, it pings where they are, but it doesn't follow them, it seems like. And you can also use that to mark areas of interest. So if you want to point out an area to a teammate where you think there are people, you can now do that by just like looking at an area of the map and pointing to it, similar to like the cameras in Rainbow Six Siege. So right there, what you just saw was the camera for the squad spawn. So you have two different options for spawning in. You can use squad spawn, and that means you'll spawn in with the same exact loadout, and you'll have that third-person camera view where you can see exactly what your teammate's doing, which is so nice because, I mean, you know, how many times have Battlefield players died by spawning in on a squad mate who they thought was fine, and it turns out that they're surrounded by enemies or have a tank barreling down on them. So that was a really nice feature. I think that's going to be really cool, and it's just kind of cool to see like the action from a third-person perspective. Or the other option for spawning in is if you want to change your kit and everything, you can go to the normal sort of top-down map mode that they had in Battlefield 1. It looks almost exactly the same. So you can do that and change your loadout and everything, but you can't see, you won't get that cool third-person mode. So here, kind of getting to the end of the video here, but one of the things I wanted to also point out was that if you saw, I'm at the capture point right now for B, just defending it, kind of running around. I wanted to show off some of the movement system in this game is really, I think it's pretty improved. I had an earlier footage that I didn't really get to keep of me like jumping out windows, so the whole running and jumping out of windows thing, that's extremely useful. I got to try that, and yeah, it's great. No more just like spending 10 minutes bashing down different parts of a window so you can jump through it. You can just run up to a fully intact window and sort of just hurl your body through it. But there were some really cool things just there. Like, I was trying to jump over that fence, and my character, the game could tell I was trying to jump over that fence, but it was just too high, and they still reached out to grab it anyway, which I thought was like a really cool detail. One of the things that was also cool was players, like if you jump out of like a second story window, your player will sort of like not roll visually, they might roll on someone else's screen, but you'll just see like a camera will kind of like stumble forward, but you'll keep your momentum pretty much. There was other movement options, like there's the regular sprint, but there's also the crouch sprint now. So sort of like other tactical shooter games, you can sprint in a crouch stance, but you won't obviously run as fast. But it'll keep you out of danger. So here's a squad revive. You get a ton of points for squad revives, and I think that's because they really want to DICE really wants to promote squad play in this game, and by doing that, giving people 200 points just for a squad revive, that seems like a pretty good incentive to do so. Another thing that you probably saw earlier was you could see those. There's like points right there with the medic and the ammo pouch. I think I'm about to grab one. Yeah, grab some ammo. Those are at every capture point, and ammo you can see at the bottom is really limited. I only have like 3 clips in this MP40, which is a medic gun in this game. Medics, they'll have SLRs. There's a scoped SLR in this demo. I don't know if I showed that off, but there's also the MP40, so they have SLRs, and they also have some machine guns. So I feel like, you know, snipers, the recon or the scout class will always have snipers, it seems like, and the assault will have mostly, I want to say, automatic weapons. We had an SMG and like an assault rifle in this one, but medics have pretty much a little bit of everything, it seems like. And that seems like a carryover from some of the new weapons that they added in Battlefield 1, like the Fedorov, which is an automatic weapon, and stuff like that. So here's some more just movement crawling under that train. It's pretty easy to do this time. You don't really have to think about it like you do in some of the other Battlefield games, if you can even crawl under things. You can see the snow here. It looks like it's picked up a little bit. It's pretty intense. Yeah, and the firing mechanics in this game are, I would say, improved. And that's just a cool little movement right there. like the vaulting over it. You can see your legs, and it's all kind of very organic feeling. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, guys. The weapons feel good. You know, they removed random bullet deviation, but there's still a challenge in controlling recoil and everything like that. Weapons still feel pretty meaty. You know, Battlefield fans should be pretty pleased with how the weapons feel. Like, that's one of my main things about this series that I love. So I'm really glad that DICE continues to improve on what they do best. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sure we're gonna have more coverage of it during E3 or in the following months. This game's coming out on October 19th for the standard edition. I think the deluxe edition, it comes out October 16th. That comes with 20 cosmetic items per week, I think. So it's pretty good. It's pretty worth it. There's no premium pass. There won't be a premium pass. So so yeah, you can spend your money that way, I guess. But yeah, this game comes out then in October on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. And as a Battlefield fan, I'm very much looking forward to playing more of it. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good E3. And for everything E3, tune into egmnow.com, and we'll catch you next time.